Hello, faithful family. It's me, Lorna, back again, talking about our trends for 2023. And today we are going to be talking about clean beauty. So, to be fair, clean beauty is not exactly lot to explore when it comes to clean beauty, and we thought that the best way to do that would actually be to talk to our friends over at SKOON. And so shortly, Rukaya Mansoor, who is the senior chemist at SKOON, that means she develops all of those amazing products. Well, she's part of the team that develops all of those amazing products, is going to be talking to us and telling us all about clean beauty. What are the no-nos, like the absolute products to avoid? What are the products that we do want to use, or the ingredients that we do want to use? Sorry, not products, ingredients. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting chat. I think we're going to learn a lot about clean beauty today. And I personally am really excited to be chatting to Rukaya about this. So just having a little bit of a tech wobble. Oh no, this week is just not going well. We had the same issue with Dr. Anesu on Tuesday, so hopefully we can get that sorted quickly. There we go.
Sorry. Oh, sorry. Hi.
Rukaya, hello.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good, good. So excited to be here to be talking all things clean beauty.
Yes, so I've just kind of done a little bit of an intro while we were waiting. So just to sort of talk about some of the things we're going to be covering. So let's dive right in. So the first question I'm going to do is just tell us a little bit about yourself and about the work that you do at SKOON.
Okay, cool. So like you said, I am the senior chemist at SKOON Skincare. I have a master's in organic chemistry, which is kind of crazy. I went from being a synthetic chemist right into organic chemistry, where it's all clean and natural, mostly natural. So at SKOON Skincare, I formulate some of the products. I get to select some of the ingredients that go into our products to make sure that they're clean and safe and scientific and effective, most importantly effective. So we like to give the best products, but with the best effects, but also clean and safe for your skin.
Wow, that sounds right up our alley, and it's like it sounds like you're the right person to be talking to in terms of clean beauty. So let's dive straight in with the questions. So I think the first question is, what is clean beauty and why is it important? Why is it better than conventional beauty products?
Okay, so I think clean beauty is a trend that's like picked up quite quickly. And because it's not really regulated as yet, there's no set definition for clean beauty. But like the best way to describe it, it's safe beauty, it's honest beauty, it's sustainable beauty. It kind of all falls under clean beauty. So it's making sure that the ingredients that you put on your skin are clean, means that you're putting products that aren't going to have long-term health effects, that are sustainably sourced, that are good for the environment, good for your skin. So basically, by the development of the trend, they have listed certain ingredients which are good for you and no-no ingredients. So the no-no ingredients are ones which have been linked to health defects or can enter water streams and be toxic to aquatic life, build in the food chain, and then come right around to being harmful for like humans as well. So it's basically just making sure that you know and are aware of what ingredients are in your products, and then making the choice as to whether or not you want to include it in your skincare.
Yes, and so one of the sort of common issues with conventional beauty products is that they can contain certain ingredients which are endocrine disruptors. Now, that's a very fancy word, but our endocrine system is basically our hormonal system, and so an endocrine disruptor is anything that disrupts our hormonal system. And especially with women, hormonal balance is super important, and we actually discussed that last week with one of our experts, Claire Yulsing-Stradom. And so any kind of products that have these endocrine or hormone disruptors in them can actually wreak havoc. So it's not important, it's not just important to think about what you put in your body in terms of food and supplements, but what you put on your body is important and that's why or one of the reasons why, you know, we really wanted to focus on clean beauty, because the skin is the body's largest organ. And so, you know, anything that you kind of put on your skin, be it your facial skin or your body skin, is going to be absorbed and is going to impact on your body. And I think that's why, you know, one of the reasons why we at Faithful to, or one of the many reasons why we at Faithful to Nature are so excited about clean beauty. And
I think it's also important to note that skincare, while it is like topical, it also can be absorbed into your skin. So what you're putting on your skin doesn't necessarily stay there. It absorbs into your bloodstream and then it can be a known carcinogen. It's, like you said, endocrine disruptor. So it can be much more detrimental than just being like sitting on your skin and doing absolutely nothing.
Wow, that's kind of scary. So, and I think that really, in a nutshell, encapsulates the argument for clean beauty. But I think one of the other things which you also touched on, which is, you know, that planetary health. And, you know, a lot of, I mean, hopefully by now everybody knows about the evil that is microbeads, plastic microbeads in scrubs. Yeah. And so we know to avoid those, but there are a number of other toxic chemicals that aren't exactly earth friendly in a lot of body and skincare products that, you know, we also want to avoid. They may not necessarily be toxic on your skin, but they are certainly toxic when kind of washed down the drain into our waterways, to your point. So there's really quite a lot here to sort of unpack, you know, why clean beauty is so important and like what to look out for.
Like I said, it's not like only one target. It's not just safe for your skin. It targets so many different. It's clean for the environment, clean for you, literally making sure that it's sustainable so that it's always going to be available. So it targets a lot. It's not just one thing.
Yes, absolutely. So I think let's get into the nitty-gritty. And so I think one of the common, well, I'm going to swap the order of the questions around, because I think that, you know, it's quite interesting to sort of, you know, you mentioned earlier these no-no products or these no-no ingredients. So can you talk us through a few of these no-no ingredients? So the things that we should really be looking for in our products that we should be avoiding. And later on, we'll chat about the things that we want to look for that are wonderful natural ingredients that are effective. But let's first start talking about what we should be avoiding. And
100%. Okay, cool. So I think just because you did mention one of the ingredients that like entering the waterway system and then like being harmful for aquatic life, I think is your chemical sunscreens. So of course, sunscreen is every day, you have to use it all the time. So it gets used so often. And then also when you go swimming, you're wearing sunscreens all the time. And then there's chemical sunscreens and there's mineral sunscreens. And your chemical sunscreens, while they don't necessarily cause a lot of defects to your skin, unless you have sensitive skin, anybody can use chemical sunscreens. And more often than not, they do have more protection than your mineral sunscreens and are probably cheaper as well. They are also quite harmful to aquatic life as well. So if you have sensitive skin, it's kind of not a good ingredient for you already. But if you don't and you use it and then you go swimming and it comes off your skin, it enters the ocean, it enters bodies of water, then it can be quite toxic to aquatic life as well. And other ones can include anything that's a known carcinogen. So an example would be your talc powder. So, yeah.
I just wanted to go back to the sunscreen quickly, because I think that there's so much detail here that I'm going to ask you to go really slowly, because us nine have to catch up. So, how would a customer know the difference between a chemical sunscreen? Because I'm pretty sure it doesn't say chemical sunscreen on the
So sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So that's kind of the nice part. But then it's also, again, like I said, clean beauty is bringing awareness to the consumer. So they also then have the ability to identify. So your mineral sunscreens are only titanium dioxide or zinc oxide. So if you buy a sunscreen and it says mineral sunscreen, be sure to look at the ingredient list on the back and look for those two ingredients, both one of those ingredients. So if it has that, chances are it is a mineral sunscreen, but you can also get a hybrid sunscreen. So that's minerals mixed with chemical sunscreens for a boosted effect. And these include like your oxybenzone and I did octinoxate. So those are the kind of sunscreens you want to avoid. So they have very chemical names to them. I know all ingredients are chemicals, but they have those really long names that when you read it, you're just very confused and you're like, what am I looking at? So if it doesn't have zinc oxide or titanium dioxide on your ingredients list, chances are it's not a mineral sunscreen, and then it's got chemical sunscreens in it.
That is so helpful to know. And just an interesting little factoid, in Hawaii, they have actually banned the use of chemical sunscreens, and they only allow mineral sunscreens because it is around Hawaii so much. And actually during COVID, you know, they've seen a huge resurgence in the health of the coral reefs around Hawaii, which is cool. And, you know, then subsequently enforcing that ban in the chemical sunscreens has been really, really good for the ocean health around Hawaii. Yeah. And if it's good enough for Hawaii, it's good enough for me. So.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. I think it's also so important because when you think about like water pollution, you think plastics in the ocean and you don't really think of anything because you put your sunscreen on and it melts into your skin and you don't really think about it afterwards. But when it comes to the coral reefs, it's like damaging the coral reefs, bleaching them and causing a lot of damage, and then also stopping them from being able to recover afterwards. So it's kind of putting a stop to a whole ecosystem just by applying something on your skin that disappears immediately and you don't even think about it afterwards.
And I think that's really a great place to start because, you know, South Africa being sunny South Africa, you know, sunscreen is a very heavily used product, and it's really a great way to start journey into clean beauty. And then the next thing you mentioned was a carcinogen. So I think what we do is if you could just explain what a carcinogen is and then kind of give us some examples.
So a carcinogen is basically anything that's known to be cancer causing. So anything included in your ingredient list that can be cancer causing. And I think the way that it's so easy to be missed, because you would think, why would anybody put anything in a skincare product that would be known to cause cancer, is that it's very dose dependent. So you put these ingredients at such small percentages that it's not even noticeable that it could be a problem. And then at some point, long term, after years of using it, suddenly you have cancer or you've developed something, and it's really hard to identify where that came from. And it's coming from these ingredients. So at first glance or first application, you don't really see the effects until much later. And the more products that you use that have these known carcinogens in, the more effect it has, because then you're kind of increasing your dosages. And one of the reasons SKOON started is because Stella identified or read an article that said that there was at least 515 ingredients you use on your skin on a daily basis. And now if you're not using a clean beauty skincare routine, and let's say 200 of those are known carcinogens, that's 200 carcinogens you're putting on your skin on a daily basis that accumulates on your skin and then eventually just leads to much worse effects without you even, again, knowing. You're just applying your skincare and you don't recognize that that's what's happening.
That's so interesting because, you know, and to be fair, I think, you know, the individual companies that are making those products are obviously looking at the quantities of that ingredient within their product, but they're not that cumulative impact and the fact that customers use multiple products that they layer there. So I think, you know, the more clean beauty products you can incorporate without those carcinogens, you're really just taking that off the table completely. And I think it's, you know, a lot of this stuff around health is often that, you know, it's those things you do every day. It's that cumulative impact that really kind of, and I think we don't always think about that. So it's really helpful to talk about this. Can you give us some examples of typical carcinogens used in beauty products, conventional beauty products that we would want to avoid?
I think the first one would be talc powder, and that's because it's included in most beauty products. You have your eyeshadows, your blushes, your baby powder has so much, it's the primary ingredient in baby powder. And the scary thing is you can get talc that's is a carcinogen and talc powder that's not a carcinogen, and that's based on whether it's asbestos free or not. And then as a consumer, you don't really know if the company you're buying the product from is using the asbestos free one, because asbestos is what's in the powder that causes it to be carcinogenic, and it's literally just a byproduct. So talc is mined, and then when it's mined, it picks up asbestos, and it can either be cleaned and being like completely pure, but then that would be really expensive, or it can be the one that could or could not have asbestos, and then you kind of take a risk and you don't really know if the product you're applying has any. And it's in so many products, you don't even, and your eyeshadow, your blushes, your baby, I think baby powder is the most important, because again, you use it on babies, and babies have developing body systems. They're not completely developed. So to introduce a baby to that at such an early age in their development, it's just not great. And I use baby powder as a setting powder sometimes. So it's just important to know that to completely avoid anything that has talc powder. So you have baby powders or face powders even that don't use talc powder anymore. So you want to look out for those kind of ingredients that don't have talc on the ingredients list, just to avoid that risk completely.
Okay, and are there any other, because what I have noticed with some of these things is that like the names are kind of like, sometimes they hide behind other names. So are there any other sort of names for talcum powder that we should be avoiding or be aware of?
Aluminium silicate, but I don't think so. According to the ingredients regulations, you have to put the inky name, so the correct nomenclature, so that people can identify. So it would be talc powder on your ingredients list. But if you're looking for the scientific name, it would be aluminium silicate.
Okay, so talc powder is a no-no. And are there any other carcinogens which we should be avoiding?
I think your pegs would be one to avoid. So that's kind of they're really added as moisturizers, and I think it's very, very common to see them on your ingredients list. So you'll see it as like peg 80 or peg 40 on your ingredients list. And the lower the number, the more chance it has of absorbing. And again, this ingredient it's a synthetic ingredient. So when it undergoes a synthetic process, it is made with dioxin and ethylene oxide. And ethylene oxide is a known carcinogen. So again, it comes to the quality of the product, and then also as a consumer, you don't really know the quality of the product that whatever product you're buying has. So if it has any kind of traces of ethylene oxide and you're applying that on a daily basis, it's again going to just accumulate in your skincare and kind of just develop more and more every day.
Okay, so no to talcum powder, no to pegs. Any other carcinogens we should be avoiding?
So I think one ingredient that I want to call out, and it's not necessarily a single ingredient, is when you look at your ingredients list and you look for the word fragrance or parfum. I think that's a good way that people hide their skincare products, because according to the regulations, you don't need to disclaim anything that's a trade secret to the company. So if you have a specific fragrance that makes a product what it is, you can just put parfum, and then you can hide so many ingredients in there. And that's usually where the kind of ingredients that cause endocrine disruption and cancer can be hidden. So that could be a very good highlight for something being hidden. So rather look out for ingredients that have the words parfum or perfume or fragrance, and just avoid those as well.
Yes, and often, like if I think about a lot of the products, a lot of the clean beauty products that we have on Faithful to Nature, they're often fragranced with essential oils, which, you know, is a completely naturally extracted product. So, you know, it doesn't come from the synthetically generated parfum that can have any sort of dodgy sort of sub-ingredient.
Anything, yeah.
Okay, great.
And it's also your surfactants. I think there's a conditioning agent, it's called, and it's a very scientific name. So again, a good way to hide behind it. It says quaternium 15, and it's a conditioning agent. So it's in your conditioners, it's in any kind of like moisturizing product, and that's also going to be a known carcinogen. So your surfactants kind of bind to your skin to help pull off oil and dirt from it, and this particular one has also known to like absorb deeper into your skin and into your bloodstream, and then also be a known carcinogen at the same time.
So can you just repeat that name? It was
quaternium 15.
Quaternium 15. Okay, so we're getting quite the list of no-nos now. So it's a powder. So from a sunscreen perspective, you're always going to choose mineral over chemical
Yeah,
sunscreen. And you can
always.
zinc oxide and titanium dioxide there. And then from a carcinogen perspective, we want to avoid talcum powder, we want to avoid fragrance or parfum, and we want to avoid PEGs or PEGs,
Yeah.
and the
And
more.
parabens as your preservatives. The list is so long.
And then quaternium 15 is the next one that you mentioned. So
Yeah.
sure, quite the laundry list here, but I think it's really helpful because, you know, a lot of times you kind of will read an article about one particular thing, but it's not often that you get all of these kind of things listed,
Yeah.
a full set of no-nos of like things that you should be avoiding. So what is next? So we've spoken about sunscreen, we've spoken about carcinogens. What else is there that we should be aware of in the no-no bucket?
Okay, I think the obvious one would be your surfactants. So not all surfactants are bad. Of course, you want to be able to clean your skin, but the one most important surfactant to look out for are your sulfates. And most importantly, when it comes to sulfates, it's your SLS, which is your sodium lauryl sulfate. So you want to look out for that huge, long chemical word. And so that basically speaks more to the effect that it has on skin. So again, your surfactants like to pull off water, pull off oil. So they have a very unique chemical structure that allows them to bind to oil. And then when you rinse your face, it kind of like rinses off the oil as well. But they can be quite irritating. It causes eye irritation, skin irritation, and just not overall good for your skincare. So you want to kind of look for something a little milder. And I think when it comes to cleansers, the sad part is you kind of think, or we've kind of been ingrained to think when you see something foam, that's when it's doing what it wants, what it's supposed to do. And you kind of don't want to look for something that's foaming. You know, if your cleanser doesn't foam, but it has surfactants in it, it's still doing what it's supposed to. I think the more it foams, the more you should be concerned that it's causing a little bit too much of stripping of your natural oils and can lead to long-term irritation as well.
That is super helpful because I'm definitely one of those people that likes to feel clean. And so to me, the bubbles means it's clean.
Yeah.
Over the last few years, in my clean beauty journey, I've definitely started to use more oil-based cleansers
Yeah.
that use oils. And I mean, I also have dry and sensitive skin, and I find that the additional benefit is that of using those types of cleansers is that it doesn't leave my skin feeling dry afterwards. So it's that benefit of like, you know, that kind of natural clean, but with dry. And that's possibly those surfactants that are kind of creating that tight dry feeling afterwards.
Tight. When you feel like your skin's like super, super tight and you kind of like stripped your skin completely. If you're feeling that after your cleansing, it's probably not a good idea. You don't want to feel.
That is not a good feeling. So.
Yeah. I know we think it is, and that's usually when you think, geez, my skin is really clean, but it just means it's completely stripped, and you don't want to be at a point where you've damaged your skin barrier, you've stripped your skin of its natural oils. You kind of want to still maintain your skin health while also cleaning it at the same time.
Okay, so sodium lauryl sulfate. So in terms of surfactants, there's two that we need to kind of watch out for there: quaternium 15 and sodium lauryl sulfate. I feel like I'm starting like get my tongue around these technical words.
I get it. Before I started in the industry, I would look at the skincare and just be like, okay, lots of jumble. I don't know what I'm looking at. And now it makes a lot more sense when you know, which is why I think clean beauty is so great because it empowers the consumer to actually know what it is and to be able to look at an ingredients list and be like, wow, I should not be buying this product. Definitely don't buy this one. Or wow, this has none of the baddies and only good stuff. So it's going to be great then.
Yes. And then is there, before we kind of move on to the things that you do want to include, are there any other no-nos? I mean, look, I'm guessing that this could be a very long list. So it's, you know, we can...
So I think a tricky one is your silicones. And that's it's very hard to, again, what's nice about clean beauty is it gives the consumer the ability to decide. So you gotta weigh the pros and cons and decide if that's what you want. Silicones have such a weird reputation because they're used in almost everything because they help lock in like any kind of actives. If you put like a silicone serum on your hair, it helps lock in any kind of like actives that you've put on your skin, helps lock in moisture. And that's a great thing, but it locks and then it kind of doesn't unlock again. So it can be very clogging. So if you're looking for something that's very temporary, it's going to give you the effect that you want immediately, and that's amazing. But it's also going to cause a lot of long-term effect on your skin, on your hair. So it tends to clog your pores. It's really, really difficult. And this is the point where your SLS type surfactants would come in, because that's kind of the only surfactants you can use to remove them. So you're then doubling up on the no-nos, because you've not only just clogged your pores with silicone, you're now also using a really high irritating surfactant to get rid of them. So I think silicone is an interesting one to look out for, and also to be very cautious of where you use it. So you don't want to be using it on your hair. You don't want to be using it on your skin. If you have acne prone skin, it's going to clog your pores. It's probably going to make your breakouts a lot worse. And it just accumulates and accumulates because it never quite gets washed off or quite like removed from your skin. So even if you feel like you've cleansed your skin, you're going to put your silicone on the next day and it's going to clog even more and just build up, and then it decreases your cell turnover, because then you don't really have the ability to wash away your dead skin cells. It's getting locked in there as well. So it kind of slows down your skin aging or your skin producing process. So there's just a lot of effects to using silicones as well that kind of outweighs the good stuff of silicones.
Wow. So silicone isn't necessarily toxic, but what it is doing on your skin and your hair is just causing a lot of buildup and clogging.
Yeah.
And that is, just don't want that in terms of our pores and our skin and our hair as well, in terms of that, because it's obviously going to like create that buildup. The hair becomes heavy and weighed off, like weighed down, and on your skin.
Yeah.
So sure, that's super interesting. Just one thing to note, and this is because I'm a little bit of a nerd. Silicone different to silica, because
Yeah.
silica
Very
is
different.
a fantastic vegan supplement that helps to stimulate your body's natural collagen production. And I think it's important to just differentiate between those two because they sound quite similar. But just from experience, silica is a fantastic, like I said, can be used by vegans instead of, bovine or marine collagen to get similar skin beautifying effects, because it will help stimulate your body's natural production of collagen, which is fantastic. So it's kind of interesting that just those few letters, silicone, silica.
So it's such a small change, and also again when you're looking at the ingredients list, you don't really know, and then you'll just see it like sil and assume, okay, I can't use this, or okay, I can't use this. So a very, very good differentiation between the two. And just on that, so silica I think is a great ingredient, especially in skincare as well, especially if you have oily skin. It works as a good absorber to help decrease the oiliness of your skin. But another type of ingredient, and also this is where it gets even more complicated compared to all of your other ingredients that I've listed, is nano and non-nano materials. So in some applications, you can have nano silica, and then some you can have non-nano silica. And you kind of want to avoid anything that's got nano materials in it. So another example would be your titanium and your zinc oxide. So those are your mineral sunscreens. And while they are great, they do tend to leave a bit of a white cast. So if you have a darker skin tone, it's not really the best to match your skin. That's kind of when you have that like bluish undertone on your skin after you apply. And one way that you can avoid that is by using nano zinc oxide or nano titanium dioxide, because the particle size is so small it makes it almost transparent. So you're going to get similar protection, but none of the white cast. And then the bad thing about that is that because it is nano, it remains in the form of a powder that can be inhaled and then kind of build up in your lungs and then lead to any kind of lung defects and like breathing problems, respiratory problems as well. So again, it's such a fine line between wanting a product that's going to be like amazing and then realizing that there's actually some bad sides to it and why you should avoid it as well.
And it's so interesting that you mentioned the white cast on the sunscreen, because that is often an issue that people mention around clean sunscreens. But
Yeah.
what that there are a few products that are a few brands that are offering a tinted sunscreen,
Yeah.
and that it definitely minimizes the impact of that white cast. So if you are, like look for a tinted mineral sunscreen, because that
Definitely a better alternative than to getting, if you get an like a transparent sunscreen, most of the times it does have a nano type of pigment that's going to help reduce that effect. So tinted sunscreen is definitely more recommended.
Yes. So wow, I mean, so there's clean and there's clean.
Yeah, it's like clean,
Yes.
clean. So yeah. There's so many different it's very, very complicated, I think, because you have the clean ingredients and then you have ingredients that can be clean and then also can't be clean.
Yes, and I think it's really helpful to mention that, these nanoparticles, because I think, it sounds really cool, right? I mean, you sort of think like, wow, that sounds very sciencey, but possibly not the best solution if you're looking for like nanoparticles, because they may be
Yeah.
they may cause different issues.
Yeah.
Cool.
Definitely.
So before we sort of, it feels like the time has literally flown. I mean, it's already hot. I can't believe it's already 6:30. But
Oh, geez.
are there any more no-nos before we move on to the good stuff?
I think just like your basics, formaldehyde, you kind of want to avoid formaldehyde. I think I hear the word formaldehyde and I'm like, definitely not. Definitely not.
Just for reference, formaldehyde is what they use to embalm bodies. So like dead bodies. So I mean, if
Yeah.
they're using dead bodies, then it's probably not something you want to put on your life.
100%, 100%. Definitely something you want to avoid. But yeah, definitely formaldehyde. And then again, you get so you can have, I think that there's a clear difference between natural skincare and clean skincare, and it tends to be quite interchangeable, even though it's not. So people tend to assume if something is natural, then it's going to be clean, and that's not necessarily the case. So like with your synthetic products, sometimes you can have trace contaminants of whatever reaction had to happen for that product to be made, and that's what makes most of the synthetic products not clean. And then similarly with natural products, sometimes you can also have an extraction method that kind of results in it not really being clean as well. So we'll have other ingredients. And one of those are your genetically modified organisms. So that's basically the type of natural material where they like take the genes out of a plant or bacteria and they use that to genetically modify it to make it better and more effective. And then you assume because it's natural, it's going to be great for you. But again, the process to get there could also have any kind of contaminants, which might not necessarily be good for your skin long term or for like the environment as well outside.
I think that's such an interesting one because, we were talking about greenwashing a few weeks ago, and this to me smacks of greenwashing, so you can say with aloe or with this or with these natural sounding ingredients, but you don't know how those have been extracted. You
Definitely.
don't, know what chemicals have been applied in that extraction process that maybe you actually don't want on your skin, because those exposed. So anything, as far as I understand, any chemical processes, in the extraction process it's really just the ingredients that are in the final product that need to be disclosed, right?
Yeah.
So you don't know what kind of happened.
What the steps that it went along the way, definitely.
And something else that I've noticed, which is more a marketing thing, but, and this is a real loophole that, unethical marketers can exploit, but by putting the word natural in the product name, so the word, if used as a claim on the product, is very closely regulated. And in order to use the word natural, there's a whole bunch of stuff you need to be able to comply with, prove that that ingredient is natural. However, you can call your product naturally beautiful or natural glow, and it's fine because it's
Yeah.
in the product name.
Yeah. It's not a claim.
So yeah, so I think there's so many pitfalls that customers really need to just look out for.
Yeah.
You know, it's the ingredients, but it's also these kind of like slight.
Gimmicks. Like you gotta be like alert of what's being said and whether or not it is true. And yeah, just like the efficacy of what you're putting on your skin, because you don't want to be putting something on your skin thinking you're getting some kind of result out of it and it's just all in the marketing or all in the name.
Absolutely. So I think let's change tack a little bit and talk about the positives, because you know we've talked a lot about the things that we want to avoid in conventional products that are potentially going to be carcinogenic, that are going to disrupt our hormonal balance, that are going to be bad for the environment, and just bad for our skin as well. But what are those natural ingredients from Mother Nature that are good for our skin and that we want to look for in clean beauty products and that are effective?
That are effective. So I think when it comes to clean beauty, another important thing, like I said, is minimizing the number of ingredients you're putting on your skin every day. So you don't really, I think everybody, well, most people have like 6-step skincare routines and 10-step skincare routines. And there's so many, and that's a lot of ingredients to be putting on your skin at one time. So what you want to do is look for multifunctional ingredients that are going to like kind of shorten the list of ingredients, because if you can get 1 or 2 ingredients that do everything, it's kind of better than having 5 different ingredients, one of which might be an endocrine disruptor, and then trying to get the same effect out of it. So first and foremost, niacinamide, also vitamin B, great for your skin. It is a great multifunctional ingredient. It not only helps with like balancing your microbiome and increasing skin barrier, so that kind of prevents any harmful pollutants and ingredients from entering your skin. So if you have a sensitive skin, chances are you have an impaired skin barrier, because it's your pollutants and stuff are getting like penetrating your skin a lot easier. So you want to kind of boost that skin barrier. So niacinamide is great for boosting skin barrier, but it's also really great at being an antioxidant. So it helps it helps fight against your oxidative stress caused by the sun. So, you know, again, wearing sunscreen, very important. Also incorporating antioxidants into your skin to help fight the effects of sun exposure. And that comes in the form of niacinamide, hyaluronic acid, top. I think everybody at this point knows what hyaluronic acid is, because it is such a key ingredient and it's used by so many skincare companies because it has such amazing benefits. But most importantly, hyaluronic acid is compatible with almost all skincare products, with other ingredients as well. And that's also something you kind of want to look out for when you're looking at your ingredients list, to make sure that they are going to be compatible, especially if you're mixing skincare. So if you have a 10-step skincare routine, you want to make sure step 2 is compatible with step 4 and it's not going to cause any kind of side reactions. So hyaluronic acid is a great ingredient because it is compatible with most ingredients. So chances are you're going to get a lot of like moisture and hydration from hyaluronic acid. And then also if you use it in combination with vitamin C, for example, it will boost the effects of vitamin C and then also have like a symbiotic reaction on your skin. Like it's kind of going to boost the effect of vitamin C and hyaluronic acid together. So you want to look for ingredients like that. And other ingredients. Yes.
So E is for brightening, right? And pigmentation. Is
yes.
that
yes.
okay?
Yes.
So just to kind of summarize, niacinamide, also known as vitamin B, is great for protecting the skin's your moisture barrier.
Skin barrier.
It's improving the skin's barrier properties, or restoring the skin's barrier properties. And then hyaluronic acid is fantastic from a moisture and hydration perspective, and it's also kind of like a booster for other ingredients that you pair it with, like vitamin C, for example, which is great for bright pigmentation.
Yes. Yes. Great.
So I feel like we're covering so much ground here, and it's such amazing information. I just want to make sure we like bedding it down. Cool.
Yes.
What's next?
Vitamin A. So that is your retinoid alternatives. So again, hyaluronic acid is very compatible with vitamin A. So vitamin A is important, number one, because it is a multifunctional ingredient as well. So again, you can use a vitamin A serum and you could get, it's a keratolytic agent, which means that it breaks down the dead skin cells on your skin. So it helps like slough away the dead skin cells. And then it's also, yes. And then it also helps with like hyperpigmentation as well, because you're getting rid of that dark pigmented skin as well. So you're not only clearing your skin and increasing your cell turnover, you're also getting rid of any kind of damaged skin at the same time. And most importantly, vitamin A is a pro-collagen vitamin, so it helps boost collagen production. So of course, once you reach I want to say from the age of 20, you should start using pro-collagen products just so that you don't have to double account for it later on in life. But from the age of 20 to 30, you want to kind of start boosting your collagen production and making sure that the collagen your skin is producing is of high quality. Because from about the age of 30, your collagen levels start to decrease, and then the collagen network also starts to deteriorate in quality. So that's when you start getting wrinkles forming and sagging skin, because that structure underneath the top layer of your skin, your epidermis, the structure is kind of gone, and you want to maintain that. So vitamin A is great for maintaining that collagen production and maintaining the quality. But it can be a little sensitizing. So if you use it, if you have really sensitive skin, depending on the type of derivative that you have, because it comes in so many different forms. You can get retinoic acid, you can get retinol. There's so many different types of retinol that you can use that will, each derivative kind of has a different effect. So some will be improved activity, some will have improved absorption, so it will absorb faster and then you'll have quicker results. So there's so many different derivatives, and some of them can be quite sensitizing. And then, like I said, hyaluronic acid is compatible with everything. So if you use hyaluronic acid with a vitamin A, it kind of soothes the skin when you're applying the vitamin A as well. So it kind of helps make the application a little easier. So you kind of get a better soother application, especially if you have sensitive skin.
That's really helpful to know, because I think, more and more we are finding that people do have a lot of sensitive skin. And so hyaluronic acid just sounds like this all-round like winner, because
Love it.
It's got great moisture and hydration, and it's a booster if you kind of pair it with other things, and it's got that soothing action with vitamin A. So wow. What else? And I think one of the things that has struck me about SKOON is how you use amazing African ingredients. Are there what the secrets of our African plant that you can share with us? Because I think there are some really amazing local natural ingredients that we have. About those?
So I think an important one that we recently started using in our ginger lily moisturizer is African ginger. So it's kind of crazy because in your kitchen you have ginger and you're just like, cool, that's there, and you don't really think about it on your skin. But like I said, when it comes to clean beauty, sometimes preservatives can be quite harmful to your skin. Some of the already existing preservatives can be known carcinogens or endocrine disruptors, so you kind of want to be alert to which ones to avoid. And what's nice about African ginger is that it has a natural antimicrobial effect, so it kind of has a good especially for your skin and maintaining your skin microbiome, it has a good antimicrobial effect. So you're kind of getting that preservative system there, in addition to the one that we already have, but you're kind of getting a natural preservative as well that's clean and not going to have any kind of side effects attributed to it as well at the same time. And it's natural, it's ginger, you know it, you've seen it, you eat it. If you can eat it, chances are it's kind of good for your skin. Not all the time, but sometimes.
True. Any other magical natural skin ingredients we should be?
I think the one thing that I think one oil that I want to call out is squalane. So squalane is a naturally existing oil on your skin. So squalene is part of your skin sebum, which is your skin oil. So it just naturally exists on your skin. And squalene itself can be quite unstable. So then we have the squalane, which is the derivative of it that's quite stable and can be used in skincare products that are long lasting and aren't going to degrade immediately. So a lot of skincare products now include squalane as an ingredient. And I think it's so crazy because the initial source of squalane was from shark oil. So it was extracted from a shark, which is not a sustainable source and not exactly the best for the environment. So initially, squalane was not a clean, well, would not have been considered a clean beauty ingredient way back when it was initially extracted from shark oil. And with developments in technology and skincare technology, I think it's really cool because now it's extracted from olive. So now you have olive squalane, which is a much more sustainable source. And it's kind of just nice to see that there's ways that you can get the same benefits, but from a clean alternative. And now even on top of that, it's now going one step further and you get sugar squalane. So that's an even more sustainable source because it comes from sugarcane, and there's so many sugarcane farms. So like the amount that you can get out is amazing, and it's not necessarily it's sustainable. It's a sustainable source. It's just getting even more and more clean, and it's still the same ingredient. You're still, and what's nice about squalane is it's part of your skin sebum. So whatever you put on your skin, it has a potential to react with your skin or be compatible with your skin. And because it's already existing on your skin, you know that it's going to be compatible with your skin. And it helps it helps improve absorption of other ingredients. It helps lock in moisture because it is part of your skin sebum. So it's basically just like boosting that natural skin barrier that you have. So it's a great multifunctional ingredient, and it's just amazing to see that it went from being non-clean to being a clean alternative source now.
Wow, that's really interesting. Thank you for that. So, I guess the next question is, one of the, certainly some of the amazing products or some of the amazing ingredients that you've just talked about sound like they have real, quantified effects on our skin. I think sometimes people worry though, that if they're going to move from a conventional product to a clean beauty product, it may not be as effective. So let's talk about that a little bit.
I think back in the day, that might have been a valid concern. So what's nice is the cosmetic industry or the personal care industry is always evolving. So initially you had these amazing products and nobody really cared or even knew what it did long term. You didn't really see past the put on your face, it does what it needs to do, and it's amazing. You see amazing results and you're like, great. And as clean beauty started to grow, the search for alternative ingredients kind of increased. So I think and initially they might not have been alternatives, but nowadays there are so many ingredients that are marketed and spoken about specifically because they have almost identical effects to the current existing non-clean ingredients. So you could use like a powder that's not derived, like talc powder. You can have an alternative powder that is maybe based on a clay. So you would have the same absorbing effect. And like we said, silica is great at absorbing. So you can have a powder that's mixed with silica and it will give you the same kind of absorption, same kind of like reducing the skin, like the oiliness of your skin, reducing any kind of like baby rashes, because that's essentially what a baby powder would want to do. You'd want to reduce like the bacteria growth by like drying out the skin. So you can get the same kind of effects. So with the new advances in skincare technology, I think there are so many ingredients and so many mixes of ingredients. Like I said, hyaluronic acid and vitamin C will have a boosted effect. So on its own, you might see one ingredient be like, there's no way that it's going to do exactly what this other ingredient is going to do. But by combining it does have boosted effects. So there's so many different ways you can combine ingredients, and you can find so many other alternatives that have similar or if not better applications.
Fantastic. So basically, to summarize, you can very comfortably move to clean skincare without feeling like you're shortchanging yourself and your skin. You can get the same. You just need to kind of be clear in terms of the ingredients that you're looking for, and generally combined ingredients can be really effective. But even, I mean, there's definitely a trend towards single ingredient products as well. For example, rosehip oil has a number of benefits for the skin.
So many.
Yeah, and I think, you mentioned earlier around consumer education and consumer choice. And I think that's what's really lovely about clean beauty, is that it's really transparent. And ultimately, there are a lot of effective options, but clean options that are going to be out there that you can try to get the same sort of impact without, any of the
Yeah,
negatives.
definitely.
Yeah, which
Definitely.
was great.
I think it's just also just looking for it, like willing to take the chance to like put away the non-clean ones and commit to like a clean skincare routine.
Absolutely. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is skin cycling, because it's been sort of a trending topic, and you know, I think especially when we're talking about these amazing natural active ingredients, you know, it's quite important to understand like how often you should use them, and skin cycling is a great way to help customers do that. So let's talk about skin cycling.
So skin cycling is basically just helping your skin absorb products better through a four-step, well, basically a four-step routine, but it's over 4 days. So I think most people, I don't know, like previously before I even knew about skin cycling, I would self-care Sunday. So I would exfoliate on the same day. I would use my retinol in the evening, double up with a mask, double up with like a really like hydrating face cream afterwards. And you kind of put it all in one and then expect amazing results the next day. And I think what skin cycling does is it kind of helps incorporate products a little slower so that your skin has a better chance of absorbing it and then also reacting to it. So what how skin cycling works is it starts with your exfoliation first. So on your first day of skin cycling, you want to exfoliate your skin, get rid of any kind of dead cells, basically clear your skin up so that when you put anything else on, it's then going to be much easily absorbed because there's nothing blocking it from being absorbed and there's nothing really blocking its way. And then on the second day, you want to use your retinol alternative, your retinol product. So what's nice about that is if you use an exfoliant on the same day as a retinol, retinol is already, like I said, quite a powerful ingredient. So if you use it in combination with an exfoliant, it can be a little bit irritating because you're kind of stripping your skin and then putting on a retinol. And again, retinol is a keratolytic agent as well. So your exfoliant is also kind of a keratolytic agent. So it gets rid of dead skin cells. So you're really stripping your skin and then you're putting this retinol directly after. It's not a good combination. So by giving it 1 day, then you then put your retinol the next day, and then it allows for the retinol to absorb because now your skin is clear and it's clean and lots more absorption. So it can absorb and do the pro-collagen effects from deeper within your skin and in your dermis level where you're supposed to have like really, really good collagen quality and strong collagen networks. And then the next 2 days, or depending on your skin, like what's really nice about skin cycling is it is quite flexible. So you can do the next 2 days, you use hydrating products. So that's where you use your humectants. So that's anything that's going to absorb and pull moisture into your skin, like hyaluronic acid as well. And your film formers, so anything that's going to lock in moisture. So you mentioned rosehip, which is a great film former. So that kind of like, it's a very, very good oil because it has so many benefits, but it also helps to lock in any other kind of actives that you have on your skin. So using a serum, for example, that has hyaluronic acid and locking it in with an oil on top of it, it's just going to help the hyaluronic acid boost your hydration and then keep the hydration within your skin instead of letting it evaporate from your skin afterwards. So depending on your skin, you can do 2 days of hydrating products. You can do 3 days if you feel like you have really, really congested skin and your skin isn't quite sensitive to cycling, then you can have it be on a 3 day. So it kind of gives you a lot of flexibility to see how your skin reacts to it and then adjust accordingly.
Okay, so it's really just about kind of like the mindful and considered application of products in a way that's gentle on your skin
Yeah.
and allows the optimum performance of each of those individual products. So it's basically like exfoliate, sort of treat, moisturize, if you want to call it that. And so, but you know, on separate days.
Yeah, separate days.
Great. So great.
Basically, like, your skin has like a 28-day cycle. So you want to kind of just like keep to that 28-day cycle. Every 3 days, 4 days, you give your skin a chance to get rid of any dead skin cells, and then you put your other actives on so that they can do what they're supposed to do without being blocked by any of the other products as well.
Fantastic. So one of the questions that I had also asked was, you know, the ideal morning and evening routine for a 20-something, a 30-something, a 40-something, and a 50-something. But I feel like that's a really big question. So, and we've covered quite a lot of ground already, and I think the reality is that it is quite personalized, and ultimately you probably need to work for your skin using the information you shared with us. So before we end off, I'm going to ask our audience to say, guys, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments now, and we'll see if we can answer one or two questions before we leave. Rukaya, while we're waiting for that, maybe quickly tell us what your nighttime skincare routine is.
So, I do love a good exfoliant. So of course, I use mostly skincare, SKOON skincare because I work there. So I love them. So it's great. But I do love me a good on a Sunday O sherbet. So O sherbet is my absolute favorite exfoliating mask. I think the azelaic acid is quite mild, and I do have quite sensitive skin. So when you have sensitive skin, you kind of want to be very cautious with the kind of exfoliant you use on your skin because it can make it so much worse. And then when you have sensitive skin, once your skin is reacted, you have to wait for it to calm down before you do anything else. So you got to be really careful. And I think O sherbet is great for me. Like I feel like the next morning my skin is glowing. But when it's not a self-care Sunday, it's mostly just a good cleanser, and then a retinol, and then lock it in with Squalane. Squalane is my absolute favorite. So I use the Squalane concentrate from SKOON, and I use it for everything. I use it in the morning, I use it in the evening, kind of just all the time. So I'll put retinol on and then just lock it in with Squalane. I just try to keep my skincare quite minimal, just so that I can, because as a formulation chemist, you kind of have to try everything. So I kind of try everything, but in my general skincare routine, I try to keep it quite minimal and try to just keep it like basics only.
Fair enough. So I see one of the questions that came through was around some tips for acne-prone skin. Any particular advice there?
So you want to avoid non-comedogenic oils. I think that's the first and foremost. So those are the kind of oils that will clog your pores. Like I said, silicones are comedogenic, so they're going to clog your pores. And that's usually what causes or contributes to huge breakouts and blemishes as well, because it kind of gets stuck in your pores, and then there's all kinds of microbial activity happening in your clogged pores, and then it leads to like a huge breakout. So you want to avoid any kind of comedogenic oils. These are coconut oil, silicone. You can Google comedogenic ratings as well of the different oils to see. So you kind of want to avoid that and swap it out for non-comedogenic oils. So those include, if you had to look at your ingredients list, that would include Squalane, again, because very similar to your skin sebum. Rosehip oil is great. Caprylic, capric, triglyceride. Those are the kind of oils you want to look for on your ingredients list to make sure that they're not actually going to clog your skin further. Because I feel like people with breakouts tend to avoid all kind of oil completely, and it's just avoid the wrong kind of oils for your specific skin type. So you don't want to use anything that's going to leave your skin shiny or like feeling very oily and clogged. So you just want to look for those kinds of oils. And then your microbiome, and I mean like microbiome on your skin and your gut microbiome. Maintaining your microbiome is so important, specifically for breakout skin. So a gut microbiome is incorporating some sort of probiotic, because there is a link between your gut microbiome and your skin microbiome. So if your gut microbiome is not in check, it's going to show up on your skin. So incorporating a good probiotic is great for maintaining your gut microbiome. And then your skin microbiome, also using ingredients like inulin and anything that's kind of a prebiotic to help boost a good microbiome on your skin as well. So similar to your gut, you have bacteria on your skin, and you want to encourage the growth and livelihood of the good bacteria. So you want to kind of incorporate probiotic skincare as well.
So just there are two more questions that have come through. So one is around Squalane and any type of skin type that should not use Squalane.
So I think Squalane is compatible with all skin types. There's really no, because it is part of your natural skin sebum. So everybody's going to have some level of Squalane on their skin. All you're really going to be doing is increasing that percentage of Squalane on your skin. So it's compatible across all skin types. And it's really great for sensitive skin. It can be quite soothing and calming, especially if you are in the middle of a sensitive reaction.
Fantastic. And then one of the other questions that came through is around pigmentation. And I have that problem too. So I'd love to know what you have to recommend for pigmentation.
So again, any keratolytic agent is great for hyperpigmentation. You want to kind of get rid of the darkened or the damaged skin cells. So that is azelaic acid, that's your vitamin A, super, super important. But again, I also want to counter vitamin A. Vitamin A is really great, but it is also photosensitizing. So you want to use it at night only and then top it up with the sunscreen. And then also to hyperpigmentation, sunscreen is utmost importance. It basically, any kind of hyperpigmentation, regardless of the source of the hyperpigmentation, is made marginally worse with sun exposure. So you want to incorporate a high SPF sunscreen and then also regularly reapply throughout the day just to make sure that it's not going to be made worse. And then you also want to look for anything that is a tyrosinase inhibitor, and that's just a very scientific way of saying a melanin inhibitor. So it kind of reduces the production of melanin in your skin. And one of those ingredients are glutathione. So like we have our hyperpigmentation smoothies, which have specifically glutathione in them to help prevent the production of melanin. So when your skin is exposed to sun or any kind of inflammation, it can cause pigmentation to develop. Whereas if you have a melanin inhibitor already incorporated into your skincare, even if your skin does get exposed to any kind of inflammation or any kind of sun exposure, it will reduce the amount of melanin that's being produced and reduce the extent of the pigmentation that's happening.
Fantastic. And I love the fact that you actually are recommending sort of like an ingestible as well. So, you know, and I think that sort of touches on quite an important theme. And I know SKOON is a big plus because you guys have your skin side out smoothies. And
yeah, so important.
And you also mentioned the gut microbiome earlier in terms of acne and how that shows up on your skin. So, you know, what you consume actually and how much you hydrate
outside. It's actually amazing because, like I said, skincare sits on top of your skin and your ingestibles kind of work from the inside out. So you want to double up on your skincare by ingesting your skincare or ingesting all of the right things and then also using the right skincare products, and you'll see results so much quicker and actually like much more efficacious results afterwards.
Wow. So it's really that synergy of what you're eating and drinking, and you know, having the right ingredients there, like your glutathione for hyperpigmentation, and you know, and then sort of during the day, kind of using your sunscreen to prevent more sun damage. Look, I mean, sunscreen is just, I feel like it's like that Baz Luhrmann song, always wear sunscreen.
Always. No
matter what your skin type, if you live in South Africa, just always wear sunscreen.
100%. And even if it's not sunny, I think a lot of people think when it's not sunny, you don't need sunscreen. Sun rays, they go through the clouds as well. You want to just always, if you're going outside, if you're sitting close to a window, just always make sure you have your sunscreen on, because it is going to come through and it is going to have long-term effects as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Rukaya. This has been so informative. I have learned so much, and I hope that everybody listening with us has learned a lot as well. Are there any final thoughts on clean beauty that you want to share with us?
I think the one quote that I did see is that it's not just a movement, it's a mindset. So try to incorporate clean beauty or the idea of clean all around. So just ensuring that whatever you're putting into your body, be it ingestible or skincare, is clean and natural, and then thinking of the environment around you as well. I think that's just so important to make sure that whatever you're putting on your skin, it's not necessarily worth the result if it's harming absolutely everything else and your skin in the process at the same time.
Wow, that's a really great note to end on. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. And thank you everybody to listening along. It's been really great to share all of this information with you. We've come to the end of our series of trends. It's been really great to learn along with all of you, and we hope that you found it helpful. Thank you for your time, Rukaya.
Thank you. Bye.